embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Welcome back. Joining us on the show is Siraj Hussain. He's former Agri-Secretary and he's on with us on the air right now. Mr. Hussain, hi, thank you so much for joining us. When you look back at 2023, while inflation was a concern and the next year is going to be all about elections, but the markets do feel that with the kind of measures that the government took, perhaps were supportive for customers, but the industry feels that there was a lot of interference as well.
Good morning, Manisha. You see, it is clear that the government has been very proactive in containing inflation, and I think elections is only one of the reasons. The government is also concerned about the impact of inflation on interest rates, etc. You see, the problem is that the climatic conditions of the last 2 years have brought India to a shortage situation for most commodities, and therefore, wherever possible, the government has reduced the import duties and enabled import by private sector. For example, pulses, etc. Edible oils prices are already much lower than last year. So the government has its hands tied, and I would say on the whole, the government has done a good job.
How would you look at the coming year now? Because many of the concerns that we saw in 2023 perhaps will see a spillover in 2024. So whether it is about whether El Nino still continues to be strong, there are deforestation laws perhaps coming in Europe, and there are the mandatory biofuel mandates as well as another thing that the street is looking at.
You see, as far as the Rabi crop is concerned, if winter continues to be good as it has been so far, the temperatures have not risen to unusually high levels, and in February, March, etc., see cold temperatures, in the normal range, then I think the Rabi crops will be good, which means wheat, mustard, chana, etc. So that will be a good beginning for controlling inflation in the year ahead. As far as the Kharif crop of next year is concerned, we don't know how the impact of El Nino is going to play out. Now, global conditions, of course, have moderated as compared to what was the situation in the last 2 years when the Russian invasion of Ukraine began. Wheat prices flared up to more than $430 a ton. Edible oil prices also flared up. So both wheat and edible oils have softened, and I think we should be fine. If Rabi crop is good, then I think next year we can expect moderation in inflation.
So, Mr. Hussain, the export, yeah.
And Manisha, you asked me about biofuel. I've been writing. We have written a paper with Shweta Saini that as far as India is concerned, food security has to be given a priority, and it is a wrong policy choice for the country to use rice for ethanol. We had projected that by 2025, when for which we have the 20% target of blending, we do not think that adequate rice will be available. So now, what we had not foreseen was that even sugarcane will be in short supply.
So what's your sense on how the ethanol blending situation will play up as we move ahead towards a 15% this year and a 20% in 25-26?
I do not think we will reach 15% this year. Even though the sugar industry has lobbied and it has been able to get a little relaxation from the government, but I think the government would not like sugar prices to flare up going forward to the parliament election. So I think this year we are not going to achieve the target of 15%. And that 20% target is also unrealistic because the Niti Aayog paper of 2018 had projected that 45% of ethanol will come from grains. A lot of it was to come from rice. I do not think we are going to have rice for ethanol, and even if we have a little surplus, I do not think we should use rice for ethanol. Also, there are new technologies coming for use of ether, for example. China is using ether instead of ethanol, where ether is manufactured in the refinery, in the oil refinery, rather than mixing taking place at the depot level.
Okay, so we could be looking at a challenging 2024 going forward as well. We'll meet you on the other side of this year. Mr. Hussain, thank you so much for joining us and thank you for your views on all of that commodities there. But with that, that's all the time that we have on the show. But Business Lunch will take all the action forward.
CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV18 on all of our digital platforms.